G'day guys, welcome to the MTDC Lounge. This is a podcast about the construction industry and what you can expect. Whether you're a bright-eyed renovator, a budding developer, or a seasoned vet, we will dive into the construction world, touching on what to expect, what's next, and how to go about it. We'll hear from a heap of experienced consultants and trades. Be sure to tune in for all aspects. So let's get stuck into the next episode. G'day guys, and welcome to episode number 1 of the MTDC Lounge. It's going to be a podcast involving everything to do with building design and getting amongst all of the issues and the sticky bits that happen between your first concept or your first meeting on site all the way through to our OC documentation and moving in. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to basically have a chat. We're going to let you know about a little bit about myself and a little bit about the team. We've got Mitch here today. He's our operations manager for our running design company called MT Design Collective. I currently own and am the director, and Mitch is the fantastic operations manager that makes everything happen in the background. G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, excellent. Mate, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Yeah, so basically I've been drafting. We used to work together way back, but I've probably been drafting for 8-9 years now, coming up there. But yeah, so I guess my main thing at the moment is I guess I'm looking a lot after the submissions and a lot more of the technical side of the drafting and design space.
Yeah, excellent.
So I guess the main thing we want to do with this podcast is really let all the mums and dads know what the whole process entails, because there's a lot of moving parts that happen sometimes all at once, all together. And sometimes there'll be bits where we're waiting for council or things like that. But I think it'd be good to get that information out there so everyone knows what's involved from start to all the way through it, really. Yeah.
Like you said, there's a huge amount of stuff that mums and dads and budding developers want to know, and it is incredibly important. So I guess one of the things, I'll start off. One of the things that I find is a common thing, particularly when I go out on site and meet clients. They want to know everything. They want to know everything from the start. They want to know, what's the best way to do something? Is the renovation the right step to take? And they start asking about pricing, and they start talking about, is engineering going to be needing and things like, how long's the process? How long's the process is a massive question as well, I think. So I guess let's identify that and I guess go through it.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess one of the biggest things at the moment when I first go out on site is renovations, because probably I dare say 80% of our work is probably renovation work, and straight away the first things that they're asking is can it be done? Is it going to happen through council compliant development? There's going to be a few buzzwords that kind of pop out like that, and we'll try and I think it's important to try and attack those, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess because those first meetings on site, when talking to them, it's I suppose like when we're talking to them at the beginning, we've got to find that balance between like finding out what they want and then also finding out what's achievable, because there's there's wants and then there's things we've got to think about, like compliance, like price, and then I think really just making sure that that the clients and the people know that what they're wanting and that we can help them with. I think that's the biggest thing, is helping.
I mean, having these multi-generational families now, they're wanting to move in with each other. They want those bigger houses. They want those bigger rooms. They're having mum and dad move in, or mum and dad are having the kids move in. So it could look at anywhere between renovations of new rooms, opening up living spaces, granny flats. Granny flats are a pretty big one at the moment, where the affordable housing, everybody's just getting crushed at the moment. So it's something that's feasible and definitely a good option as well.
Well, do you want to talk a bit more about the typical process of I guess when you're going out to site, seeing them, saying g'day, speaking to them about what they like to achieve with the space? I think we just let everyone know I guess what that process looks like from there all all the way through.
Yeah, sure. So, I guess for our process, if there is an inquiry that comes through online, or if there's a phone call, or even a referral or something like that, we would initially organise a site visit within about 2 weeks, and as soon as possible. And from that, myself or one of our designers would go out there and go and meet them. We try and get as much information while we're out there, as much as much as we possibly can, right? So we want to make sure, the bushfires and the floods and the hills and the landslip and all that kind of stuff is covered, to make sure that whatever they're asking for isn't going to be a curly one. And then while we're walking through the house, I like to ask them the questions. I like to kind of get a good understanding of what they need and want. It's incredibly important, particularly in my circumstance. I want to know what they want, because I want to know if it's even possible before we even do that. But from that, we bounce a few ideas around them. It's part of my favorite part. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. Like I love talking about what they can do and what might be a little bit of a stretch. It's just we want to make sure that they can do it, and you can identify pretty quickly whether or not it's a feasible idea or not. The golden question of how much is going to cost always comes up, and that's a great question. How long's a piece of string? But in terms of planning and all your bits and pieces, I usually would warn the client at least that you're expecting that 20 to 25 grand before you even turn dirt. And that's including planning, that's including council fees, that's including all of your bits and pieces.
Or engineers and everything.
Yeah. So from that initial that meeting, we'll move into a quote space, and then from that quote space, we'll I guess once it's accepted, because we do the full project management and the full system, we organise the reports, we organise the surveys. If it's a renovation, we'll send the guys out to do a full measure, and then from that we'll get the existing plans. How are you finding our process of the in-house concepts at the moment? Do you think they're working?
Yeah, I think so. I think when we go out to do the measure, and by the time we get to that concept space, we've got an accurate set of existing plans. We've got all of your all the land reports, block reports, so we can actually look at not just the existing building, but the land zoning, whether it is bushfire. We can actually look at the project as a whole, and I'm finding it really helpful for when the clients come in. We can talk through similar to what you have chatted to them on site, but we've got an accurate floor plan that we can start sketching over, and we'll have that more information about the block reports. So we're not just going in blind anymore. We've got a good idea of or what the constraints are, or what the challenges, mainly what the challenges are, because challenges aren't. If you speak about the challenges as they come up, they don't become challenges. I find they're obstacles, and you just find a way to get around it.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a huge thing too. Like we can't always nail it on the head every time, but when it comes to the major things that we can be aware of, we definitely can jump on it for sure. Particularly if you're asking for a 4 meter bedroom, and you've only got a 6 meter frontage, right? So it's pretty wild. But yeah, I think the concept space that we're doing this year really helps. It's giving us an opportunity to be a little bit more upfront, a little bit easier to get those concepts right the first time. We're not doing so many back and forth. There's not so many, I guess errors, I guess you could say, or missed marks, I guess. And I guess from after that concept space, once the client's happy, then we've also introduced another meeting, the pre-sub meeting, which helps us get through that DA and tick all those boxes. So I think they're really helpful at the moment.
Yeah. Especially at the concept stage. Like once the clients are happy with the concepts, like whether it's the first, second, or third set of plans, we can bounce around that space for a little bit, just to make sure that we're on the same page as the client, and we get that result that the clients are after. It's what they want to build and go ahead with. I guess that next stage is to look at the submission side of things. Usually at that stage too, the concept plans are a good point to get some builders involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
While they won't be able to give a formal estimate until they've got final plans or engineering. It's always I think the perfect time to get them involved, because you can speak about ballpark, see especially about the feasibility of it as well, because at the end of the day, the builder's the guys building it. So the sooner we get them involved, the better, I think.
I completely agree.
Yeah, especially before council. Yeah. Because while we'll get the plans ready for council and everything like that, we definitely want to know, and the owners, the clients want to know too, that what they're doing is going to be, both exactly what they want, design wise, and still feasible from a cost and a buildability.
Absolutely. Like there's a huge conversation there, particularly around the prices and builders. The one builder will say one price, another builder will say another price. Yeah. It's one of those things that like it'd be great to get a builder in to have a chat about these things and things to identify, particularly with quotes when we get to those concept spaces. And yeah, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. Like it's even for us when we do our quotes. We try to be as transparent as humanly possible. We try and let you know what's included all the way through the construction certificate. We want to make sure that the clients know how much it's going to be, and just unfortunately, like there's a lot of numbers that are kind of missed out. And I think it's that's probably at the core of what what podcast is about. Like we want to identify and illuminate, I guess you could say, everybody's expectations on prices and what they can kind of expect from a price or from a budget point of view, I think.
Yeah. Especially when we get through to that council stage, because I think that there can be a bit of misconceptions about how much council processes cost and what's involved with it. I think a lot of the times, because to get an accurate quote for the submissions and things, we pretty well need accurate concept plans, or at least concept plans to a level where the planners or the bushfire consultants, people can actually look at what we're doing and then finding out, I guess, the level of complexity of the job. Like a small rear extension is going to be, more expensive than if you were to do it like a deck by itself or something like that. Or even then, the things I guess we uncovered during the reports and things as well can play a role, whether it's in like a slope stability zone, bushfire, mine subsidence. So I guess all those things come together with the concept. So ideally at that stage we've got the concepts, we've got the reports, and we can go, hey, Mr. Planner, this is what we want to get into council, and these are the reports that we need, and we can get that organised at that stage.
Yeah, I think it's important to note there as well that while going through council, it's a different process to the compliant development application, isn't it? Like, you're doing the DA, but there's two sets of plans that go to a DA and a construction certificate. We have to identify different things, or the plan sets for the DA and the CC they include different requirements, I guess you could say. Like you got the statement of environmental effects, for instance, the document that you use basically to argue why we might be bending the rules or stepping out of the guidelines a little bit, which again it's a massive benefit by doing the DA, because you don't have to stick with such a strict rule, but whereas the CDC application is a lot cheaper and they'll save a lot more money, but they've got a guideline, like a very black and white guideline, don't they?
Yeah. Anywhere possible. Like if it's an option to go through compliant development, then 100%. That's what we want to do. It's quicker, it's cheaper, and you get to start building a lot quicker.
Yeah,
incredibly quicker.
Yeah. So because at the moment, I think like Mac in particular are doing their best to shorten their timeframes around. I think they're shooting for about a 3-month turnaround at the moment. Newcastle have brought out their new their assisted approval.
Accelerated.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Accelerated approval process, which is great. I mean, that's a turnaround time of a normal CDC application, which is amazing. comes with the price of a DA application though, but it's still good for the turnaround time, right? So yeah, and I think it's important there as well that we're talking about the kind of costs that are buzzing around the council application and the CDC applications, because even though we can do the best that we possibly can, there's always going to be something, or there might be a cheeky RFI that pops up here and there, and all of a sudden we're in a battle with the RFS about how close a granny flat is to a bushfire area, or knocking things out of compliant development where otherwise would be perfectly fine. So unfortunately there are just these constant costs that I think will pop up, but I think trying to mitigate them, or at least identify them as soon as possible, is important.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So how do you find our process now with the concepts, opposed to the concepts that we had when we first started kicking off?
I think it's become a lot more clearer. I think being able to get the clients in, like with those existing plans, and be able to get a sketch in the room. I mean, you also can't replace face-to-face value either.
Absolutely.
Like, be able to speak to someone in the room with the plans, with the reports, anything that they need. I think we're finding we're reducing the amount of I guess concept amendments or changes, because we're getting a lot closer to the mark the first time round.
And they're right there looking at them, right? So
well, that's right. You can sketch out. You can quickly sketch out a couple ideas that you would have chatted to them on site about.
6 months of bouncing back and forwards of like emails and things like that, and frustrations because marks are missed or communication's been dropped or something like that, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean that translates straight out to us being able to draw the plans as well. Like we've got a sketch, we've got something ready to go. It's a fresh conversation, because sometimes the reports can take their time, or things might come up between when you've had your initial conversation and by the time we're drawing the concepts. So and a lot of people change their mind too. Like when you go for that initial conversation, there's a lot of wants and how they see things, but as they start going through, and especially once they've seen a scaled version of their existing plans, they might before the concept meeting even have a bit of a sketch over it themselves. So I think it's good to rehash what it is they want, and I think that's a huge benefit at the moment.
I completely agree, and I think one of the driving factors for this change for this year in particular is we've got a growing team. Like, we've got a massive team, and at the moment it's myself that goes out and sees a client, and myself and our other designer, and it's one of those things that as we continue to grow, as we continue to keep being busy, it's hard to the way that we used to do it was I'd sketch something, or I'd draw something, or we'd write something down, and then I'd try and remember it when we got to the concepts. And if we're punching out 5 to 6 concepts a week, those concepts can easily get misunderstood or forgotten. Even and as much as you don't want to, like, time starts to get away from you. And it was definitely a move that we had to make, because the communication is a huge thing, particularly if we're looking after someone's money. We're looking after their money, we're looking after their livelihood, their potentially family home. I think it's important to make sure that we take that time to communicate and at least be present. And I think that's the contrasting difference between how we used to do it, like as a pen and paper and drawing notes, to actually having somebody sit in front of you and go through these ideas and pick out any potential issues on the spot, and then offer different ideas within a space of an hour or whatever our concept meeting time is, and then clients leaving the office that day knowing that we've listened, we've got a direction, and they understand where we're going. So
yeah, well, I mean, like, how many times can things get lost in translation in emails?
Still,
like terminology changes, or even just like, I guess sometimes what the clients are asking for isn't. I guess it's just not coming all the way through, like where there's communication breakdown. But getting someone in the room, like even over Zoom, like for the long distance clients, like, I think that's because you can show as well as sort of explain, and it takes the email interpretation out. I think the main thing is that we're on the same page as the clients are.
Yep.
We fully understand what their goals are, and then they can then fully understand what the limitations are, or what things we're trying to help them with, or figure out, basically problem solve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, the biggest thing of design, really, it's all about problem solving. I find. Because I mean, the clients, they've got their idea of what they want, or they know what they want to achieve and get out of the space, and I guess we'll be that conduit to make it happen. Like, I mean, sometimes it comes together, and sometimes it's a bit tricky. You gotta, you gotta bend some things, or
break some hearts. Yeah, no. Well, I think it's huge. I think it's a game changer. I think it's great. I mean, how good's the Remarkable being like digital now? Like while we're doing the Zoom, the Remarkable, you can just draw while they're on the computer, and they can watch you kind of draw. And it's just the technology these days is allowing us to work, further inland and further north, or wherever our name takes us. But we can definitely look after the clients no matter where they're at. So it's a good option for those guys who feel like that there's no option for them out there, that we can still do great designs for what they've got out there.
Yeah, all you need is an internet connection, and we'll get them sorted.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. A couple of great things happened this week, particularly around the site visit and the concepts. Went out and saw a client. They were a great young couple. They were living right next to one of the train lines, actually, and then, as you know, they've got some their own issues when it comes to train line proximity, and they got so used to it that it was normal to them, and so they didn't have a problem with it. But while I was talking to them, they kind of identified with me that they had a small living space. They didn't have a kitchen. They had a growing family. They had a couple of kids, and mum was still working from home, and and dad was a tattooist actually.
Yeah.
She wanted a bit of space so she could do some work from home, because she was doing her work out of her young son's room. So
yeah, right.
So when the little fella went to go down for a nap, then it was mum's break for 2 hours or whatever the young bloke slept for. But after sitting there and having a bit of a chat, like, they were just like, "Matt, what do we do? How can we do it?" And I was like, 100%. We'll punch out that kitchen. We'll punch out the living room. We'll incorporate this outside and inside living space. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, but we need. What are we going to do about the study?" Well, like, we need to study, and I want to be away from the kids while I work, so we're not interrupting sleep and things like that. Turns out that while he's a tattooist, I offered, "Hey, have you thought about an at-home tattooing studio?" And he's like, I've been asked 1,000 times. So there it was, because we've done tattoo studios before. I was like, "Oh mate, we've done it. Like, we can do it." And there's things that there's certain space limits there that we can stick by. There's obviously regulations and things like that for skin pen stuff, but yeah, they were really stoked. They were really stoked, because they just thought they were going to be stuck with this small box extension, and they didn't have that. They didn't have much to go with, because the block wasn't massive and it had a bit of a slant on it. So there wasn't a lot they could do, but they had a perfect space for an outside detached studio skin pen space. And so
it's like detached. They're going to have it
up the back.
Out the back.
Yeah. They loved it, and so dad ended up during the COVID period, he ended up tearing out the grass. Just like standard tearing the grass, just battered it, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, this was one day going to be for the kids, and they're watching movies on a screen on the out during the summer and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, that's great. We can organise everything up the back in the studio, so mum and dad can sit in the studio, and the kids can hang out on the mound." So yeah, they were really stoked with that, and yeah, I can't wait to do that one. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, that'll come up.
Yeah. Be good. Another huge win as well this week was one of the concepts for one of the blokes who just bought a place just a little bit further down in Lake Mac there. Massive block, huge. He basically came to us saying that he wanted to do a reno on the big house out there, and it's going to be a magic place. And he's like, well, what else can we do? What else can we do with it, Matty? And I was like, hey, I said, there's the new Lake Mac rules. You know, you're within 800 metres of one of the train stations. You know, all of a sudden, the world starts to open up, particularly with the new Lake Mac rules of the affordable living and the housing within, I think it's 800 metres of the train station. So he was like, he asked more, and so we're going to start exploring the opportunity of, you know, townhouses or duplexes on the front portion of his block, 'cause he's got heaps of space, which is a great win. And then he's one of those blokes that he wants the movie room, he wants the media room, he wants the big winding stairs, he likes the voids, the glass, the big open spaces. So that's going to be a magic place to look at. But as you know, or anybody else knows that works with me, he asked me, he goes, hey Matty, what's the chances of a hidden door? So,
well, we've got one here now, so you got it.
Yeah, he's. I said, mate, you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
I said, let's do it. So we had a great conversation for about an hour and a half about, you know, where we could put a hidden door and give him like a little hidden whiskey bar behind the media room or whatever have you. And you know, he was going to give the upstairs to the kids. He was like, yeah, the kids can have upstairs, I'll have downstairs. But then he turns around, he goes to, like, no word of a lie, he turns around and goes, the best views are upstairs. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's your space.
What are you doing, mate? No way. And he goes, oh, well, it's too big just for myself. And I was like, no. Like, we can do massive walk-in robes, we can have like the shoe racks, we can have big en-suites, we can have, you know, we can do the whole bit. And
well, it could be a retreat at the end of the day.
A parents' retreat, yeah. Absolutely. And then he goes, oh, and you could see his wheels starting to turn. He's like, oh, wait on a minute. Like, he's like
starting to get excited.
Let's have a look at this. Yeah. And he was talking to me about the big man shed that he wants down the back. He's gonna put his own putt system in there, and he's gonna have a you know driving simulator in out there, and got the bars, and he's a bit of a gin drinker too. So I was like, you know, I'm coming knocking after we're done for sure. But he was talking to us about like a media room, and it's not like any normal media room. He wants the full kit. He's prepared to spend $150,000 on the thing. So he's ready to do tiered seating. He's going to do some coffered ceilings and some starlights, and he's doing up down lights and curtains and the whole bit. So I think it's going to be a magic place for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about what we do is starting those conversations, and sometimes they're a little bit like they've got a bit of an idea of what they want, but after a few conversations and really getting to know what they are, you can start seeing them get excited about it. They're starting to you know, light up a bit and go, oh, we could do that. That'd be awesome.
He left the office and he's just like, Matty, I'm going home to draw. Like, I've got my plans. I'm going to draw as soon as I get home. I'm going to put some scribbles and I'm going to send it through. And I was like, because he was going to do a spiral staircase, and like it wasn't going to be any normal spiral staircase. It was just going to be this tight spiral staircase, and he's asking for a full open space. And I was like, no, there's a much better way to do this. And I mean, he's one of those clients that where it's like, he's got that opportunity to do whatever he wants, and it's really great to help support him and guide him in that direction. Obviously, costs and prices got brought up, and how much he thinks, and he's basically said what every designer ever wants to hear. He goes, it costs what it costs, and let's get it done.
You don't hear that very often.
You do not.
Yeah, I think this has been a great first episode.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's a great step to breaking into, you know, showing you know, the public what it's like to be a part of this industry, and it's going to be great to start breaking down even you know, the smaller steps. I'm talking mortgage brokers and real estate agents. Like, this is the direction that I think we want to take the podcast in, getting these people who know what they're talking about, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity just for everybody to learn, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode.